All right, welcome everyone. This is our production call training for Thursday morning. What we do today is we're going to go over how to write business consistently, what's a good proper setup, um, how to help you write more business by making sure you have everything in place or being really prepared more than anything. And then we're even going to teach you some tricks that I think are pretty important in the appointment, right? If you get stuck anywhere as a brand new agent, and really as any agent, right? So first, let me go over some housekeeping, right? This is an hour-long call. It's a lot of information. I want to make sure y'all maximize it. So please take notes, have a pen and notepad out. The hard part is, right, if you're not doing any some of this stuff, right, is just applying it to your appointment, right? Don't worry about applying everything we cover, right? I don't want you to change a whole lot. Just add little things, right? Like, hey, you know what? I think this is going to bring the most value to my appointment prepping or whatever it may be, right? And start adding things into it, right? So that you can, again, move forward through the process of writing more business. And then most importantly, we do this as a huge community in the Cook Master hierarchy. So if anything helps you out from today, please post and ban, hey, you know what? I started doing this and this from the production call. And this is what I did. And look, I was able to help more families with that or help a family. If y'all can post that and ban, it really, really does help other agents, right? Grab those nuggets. So please, that's what I humbly ask of y'all. And we'll get started. So if y'all seen the leaderboards in Symmetry, right? We are growing like crazy right now. We are actually the fastest growing agency literally now, Sam, in Symmetry. We can say that. Ain't that cool? And because of that, we have a whole bunch of new agents, and I want to make sure we're covering just all the basic stuff, right? Stuff that we've done over the years that has simplified the prepping of the appointment, right? And logins. And sometimes it's little things that we don't think of that can simplify your life so much, right? So we're going to cover a lot of that. This is a very interactive call. So please, as long as it's topic related, unmute, ask the questions in the middle. You don't have to put in the chat because it's hard for me to keep up with it because it goes really fast. So please unmute, ask any questions, right, at any point, as long as, like I said, it's topic related. We'd love to answer it. Because if you have the question, probably a bunch of other agents do too. So we'll get started. Again, what we're going to do today is how do I prep for an appointment? How do I book an appointment? What should I be doing as a brand new agent? That's like one of the most common questions that we're getting, right? Is like, hey, how do I know I'm doing this right to maximize my ROI? Because at the end of the day, remember, you are a business. And if you're investing in leads, you should be making money off of every single batch of leads. So we're going to go over, right, just how to maximize that first. So I'm going to first start on leads, right? If y'all haven't done the SNA class, make sure y'all do. That's on Fridays, right? Get with your agency owner. Make sure if you haven't taken that class that you do, right? It's where we talk about, right, how to maximize your lead investment and proper lead investment. I can't say that enough, right? I talk to agents that buy, right, hundreds of leads and it's too many for them to dial. I talk to agents that buy 8 leads, right, and try to squeeze everything out of them. There is a good batch size that we teach. It is going to depend on your budget, so please make sure you get with your agency owner, right? But once you take that SNA class, and we've posted it in Band, and I'll make sure we repost it again today after the call. But right, it's making sure you're getting your leads in batch sizes. And very important not to get too many leads, right? Like Symmetry has a whole bunch of discounts out there right now on our leads, and they are fire. But there is such thing as too many leads, right? So I love to cover this number. I always teach an agent never more than 60 leads at a batch. Okay, right? If you're doing A leads and right, more expensive leads, less is okay, but never more than 60 leads. And I want to go over the numbers of why, right? So if you have 60 leads and I start calling them, and ideally, right, you want to call them in the morning and in the evening. That way you have, right, if somebody works in the evening, you get them in the morning. If somebody works in the morning, you get them in the evening. But if you have 60 leads and I'm going to start calling right now, right, if I have 60 of them, let's say in a perfect world, right, they didn't answer, right? And I just blow through all of them. That's 180 dials if I triple dial 60 leads, right? One time through them in the morning, okay? Let's just say 20 people picked up, right? But I still went through the whole batch no matter what, right? So let's say, right, some people pick up on the second. Going through 60 leads in the morning, right, you're probably going to average about 150 dials, okay? And then if you do it again in the evening, but let's say you resolve 20 of them, and that's a lot, right? But let's say now we're only down to 40 leads in the evening, and I still triple dial those, Sam, right? That's another 120 leads. So ideally, if you call in the morning and in the evening and you have 60 leads, that's 270 dials. Right? So realize if you have anywhere from 40 to 60 leads in your system and you're not dialing, right? And this is reflection, right? And look at your business, right? If you're not dialing 200 plus, I promise you're just not touching your leads enough, right? And then what happens if you have way too many leads is, right? Let's say I have 100 leads, Sam, right? And I only dial 150 dials today. That means I didn't even go through the full batch, right? Even though Paul, I feel like I worked a lot today, right? But I don't get a lot of people picking up, right? So guess what? I got through a few on Monday, and then I dial another 150 dials tomorrow, but that barely caught. I'm still not even through my entire batch of 100 leads, right? And then the next day, Wednesday, I do that again. Realize now you're calling a lead maybe once on Monday, once on Wednesday, maybe not even until the next week. And if you ever have a bunch of leads and you're dialing through all your leads and you're like, man, nobody picks up, it's because they don't recognize your phone number, right? It is super, super important. Write this down. I should call my leads once in the morning, once in the evening. And when I say once, right, it's triple dial each time. So your one lead should have 6 dials minimum in a day. If you're not trafficking your leads that much, you are literally a random number. And that's why sometimes, right, when we dig in, Sam, we're like, man, I don't like the way I've been working all week. So today I'm gonna dial 200 or 300 dials, right? Like today's the day. And you get on the phone and you do an amazing job of doing 200 or 300 dials, but like, man, nobody picked up, Sam. It's because realize just today was the first time maybe you touched them once or twice, right? And that's why it has to be so consistent because, right, so many times as a new agent, we're afraid, like, man, they're going to see my phone number a whole bunch of time. They're going to be so mad. You need that. You are actually going for them. You don't need to be changing a whole bunch of phone numbers. You actually want them to have a ton of your numbers, right, of your number a whole bunch of times so they can finally get upset or frustrated and say, hey, why are you calling me so much? Hey, my name is Joe Martinez. I'm just getting a hold of you for the mortgage protection, right? That is actually what you're going for. You're not trying to tiptoe around like, I hope I don't bother them and I don't want to triple dial because I would be upset. Nope, you want to triple dial a ton of times, right, throughout the day. You can actually, right, like if you want to have if you want to maximize your leads, you should be calling them in the morning, in the afternoon, and in the evening. That means each number on your lead should have 9 dials, right? 3 in the morning, 3 in the afternoon, 3 in the evening. There is no such thing as over trafficking your leads. I wish we had that problem. Trust me, we don't. You can call a lead until they answer. That is your job. Your job is to call them until they answer, and then you get a yes or a no. That's it. No one said, right, everyone's gonna say yes. We just need them to pick up the phone to tell us yes or no. Any questions on dialing, right? How many times? I know that sounds scary sometimes, but trust me, that's what it takes to win here. You are absolutely should be calling a ton of times. I got leads in our system that have 90 calls, right? That means we've called them a ton of times. And it's crazy. They won't answer to like 120 dials, right? Two months later, Sam, they'll pick up and then they're like, oh yeah, no one's called me. Right? Sure. Go to the script, book
Or,
the appointment, and write it.
and this is even worse, you'll call them a bunch of times and then they tell you, I just sat with somebody yesterday. I'm all covered. Thank you. Like, What's wrong with you?
I promise you cannot call them enough. That is a fear, and that is a I feeling, right? I always teach all like those are I feel this, I think they won't like this, that is all you. Get over that. You can blow them up until they answer and you get a yes or a no. So all right, so that's activity, right? That's what you should dial leads. Again, if you have more than that in your dialers or more than 60 leads, what I suggest, get with your upline so they can help you with this, but just break them up into 6 batches of 60, right? Because if you get batches of 60 and you do that kind of activity, within 3 days, you're able to start adding more and more leads so that you can resolve your leads. Because I promise you, everyone on this screen, including me, if we were to dial the crap out of all your leads, you have 10 applications in the current batch you have right now. I promise you, we've put it to the test, right? Just realize you just need to dial more on your leads. So the next part is, right, that's my activity. So I'm a brand new agent, and this is really for everyone. I personally, when I book same day appointments, Nate, I don't know why. I have a higher no-show rate. So I actually prefer to book my appointments for tomorrow so that they can prepare mentally that, hey, I'm going to show up on Zoom. So what we teach is book your appointments for tomorrow, right? And especially if you're a brand new agent, very, very important, right? One, your upline wants to help you, right? But you got to give us the opportunity to help you, right? And sometimes we're busy, right? We have other agents and we want to make sure that you are properly prepared for your appointment. So very important, you're booking your appointments for tomorrow so that, right, whenever you book, whatever appointments you have booked, we can help you casework, right? So you book your appointments for tomorrow, Tammy, then you get to call me, right, in the evening and say, hey, I have 4 appointments, right? And we run down the information. It takes about 5 to 10 minutes to help you quote them, right? If we can't do it in the evening, we at least have tomorrow morning to help you prep for your appointment. That's why it's so important to make sure you're booking them for tomorrow. It's hard to say, hey, I got an appointment in an hour. Can you help me, Nate, really quick? Right? Because what if I'm in an appointment? What if your upline's an appointment in an interview? So, right, teaching proper, right, caseworking and making sure you're set up, set your appointments for tomorrow so that you're, right, whoever's helping you underwrite can help you casework tonight and tomorrow. Again, do not try to do this by yourself. The whole point is Symmetry is a system and you don't have to go figure this out, right? Make sure you have all the right information. So when you're booking your appointments, these are the most important things you should have. So write these down, right? Make sure you have the current age of the client, because if you're calling bonus leads, right, sometimes the lead says they're 45, but they're actually 46 now, right? So make sure you verified the age. Make sure you verify the mortgage amount that's owed, right? Again, if you're calling bonus leads, it may say 200,000, but maybe now they have it down to 180. So just verify, make sure you know the exact mortgage amount owed. And very, very important, the mortgage payment. The mortgage payment is the most important thing to help you casework, because 85% of our cases are going to be critical period. Right? And so that we can help you casework and say, hey, you know, you're going to show them 6 months, 10 months, 12 months. You need to have that mortgage payment. So make sure you find out, right? Hey, how much are you paying a month on the mortgage? Okay. Then the next one is going to be their health. The health is the second most important thing, right? Because that's how we're going to decide what policy we're going to use on the client, right? What carrier. And so the best way to ask it, right, is, so Roger, my last question, right, and when I'm booking the appointment is, I just want to ask, right, a little bit about your health. Have we ever had a heart attack, stroke, cancer, diabetes, and then the most important one, or anything else like that? Because if you don't leave it open, they're going to say, Nate, right, like, no, I don't have none of those. Right? So you got to leave it open, or anything else like that. Right? So have you ever had a heart attack, stroke, cancer, diabetes, or anything else like that? These 4 are the most common things somebody's going to have: a heart attack, stroke, cancer, or diabetes. Okay. Once they say yes to anything, your next follow-up question must be, when were you diagnosed with that? Because that's also going to matter on what policy we use. When were you diagnosed with that? Okay. And then are you currently on any treatment for it? And when was the last time you were? Right. So if they had a heart attack, if they had cancer, when was the last time you were on chemo, right? Or whatever treatment, because that's going to determine what policy we use. So those are very important questions. And then on the diabetes, what's really important is as soon as they say diabetes, when were you diagnosed? And then the follow-up question to that is, are you on pills or insulin? And then I always follow up when they say, hey, no, I'm just on pills. Have you ever been on insulin?
Yep. Sometimes I'll put them on for 2 days in the hospital when they first find out. And I'll say, nope, I've never taken insulin. And then the carrier comes back, well, actually you have.
Yep. So just making sure, have they ever been put on insulin? That's super important. And then a great one right after that, right? Whatever they tell you, still my follow-up. Are we taking medication for anything else? Right? Because all of a sudden they're like, oh, well, yeah, I'm taking another medication for this. Oh, but it was none of those. It's not heart attack, stroke. I'm taking medication, Nate, for neuropathy.
I had a brain tumor last year, but I don't think that's important.
Yeah. Right. So are you taking medication for anything else? And what is it for? Right. I don't even care about the medication. I just ask, what is it for? Right. Because with that information, I can help you casework, right? And your upline can help you casework anything from that point. John, you had a question.
Yeah. Now I know at some point we will have these basically down pat and committed to memory. But for us new guys, are these questions part of the application? But is the application generated where we can be reading off the application as we ask these questions? Or the application computer generated, I guess is it.
So they're all e-apps and all these questions are on the applications.
Okay, that's what I'm asking.
Yep, yeah. And I'm going to show y'all a couple of tricks on those too.
Okay,
and it's in the script too when you're booking the appointment.
Exactly. Okay, that's what I was asking.
Yep.
Yeah.
Real quick, Joe, question.
Yeah.
What do you say? Because I know what I say, but what do you say when they're like, nope, super healthy?
I'm
No
like, great. And so my follow-up is super healthy. Have we ever been prescribed any medication for anything in the past? Right. So
the last 10
just realize this. If they're 30 or older, I'm almost promising you they've had something diagnosed or prescription. Like it's scary out there. I promise y'all, they have stuff. It's a 50-year-old, even worse, right? Like 50-year-old telling you they're healthy.
Hey, easy.
But it's because
easy there.
Yeah, right.
Right. So just realize those they're very important questions because we want to make sure we get those first policies approved the very first time. It's asking those questions, knowing, right, that you got to get this information so we can help you casework properly. And then James brought up a good point. There is no such thing, right? Because you hear this a lot, pre-diabetic. Okay, that does not exist. That's just what the doctor tells folks for whatever reason. As soon as the word diabetic comes up, pre-diabetic, it doesn't matter. They're diabetic. In the insurance world, they are diabetic, right? You can't use that no more on the policies that don't accept diabetes. So that's a really good one, James. Glad you brought that one up.
And if you ask these questions, right, like Joe's talking about, you should have about a 90% approval rate on your policies.
Yep. The reason we're teaching that, I love numbers, right? So my first 81 applications were instant approval. Ever in the field. I had never gotten a decline until my 82nd app. Now I wanted to cry. I'm like, what? They said no, right? And I'm going to teach y'all, right, how to get a whole bunch of yeses and instant approvals from the very first time because it's following these instructions. Okay. So now we're booking for tomorrow, right? And when we're booking, we're asking all these questions really good. Laura, you have a question? You're muted if you're talking.
Yes. My question is there a physical exam involved?
Nope. Everything we do is
clients?
instant approval. It'll
Okay,
be through the 15, 20 questions that are going to be on their applications. That's all they got to answer. And then
Okay,
it pulls their information instantly. And now every carrier almost can tell you halfway through the application, which is really cool.
And the approval process for each applicant, is it I'm trying to say this kindly, but what if you get an applicant who just out and out lies and just says, no, I'm not taking anything. No, I've never taken anything. I'm perfectly healthy. You get that kind of a person, and
Every day.
how do you find out they're lying? How do you find out they're not telling the truth?
So you don't find out, you just reapply to the next carrier in order, right? And I'm going to teach y'all to go in order, right? They're going to lie, perfectly fine. I ain't upset at it. It's part of the process, right? You just do the best job that you can, right? To let them feel comfortable enough that maybe they don't lie, but they're going to lie, right?
Yeah.
I'll submit an application and they're like, oh, well, I guess I did have cancer. I'm like, you were perfectly healthy yesterday, right? Or earlier today. Right. So just be okay with it. Don't hold it against them. Right. They're just trying to get covered. Right. It is what it is. Part of it comes with the territory.
And
Hey,
the
Joe.
only reason why I bring that up is because, I'm sorry, just one additional thing, just not to cut you off, but because I had someone who said they were pre-diabetic, they're not on anything now because they don't have the diabetes anymore.
Right. So that doesn't exist in the world, in the insurance world. Right. Once you're
Okay,
pre-diabetic,
all right.
once you're diabetic, pre-diabetic, that's it. You're done. Right.
Gotcha.
It's like I had a blood clot or I had a heart attack 10 years ago. Right. You still had a heart attack. Right. It's not like the heart attack is gone. So once you're diagnosed with something, you're diagnosed with something. Right. And now it's just depending on what policy we're going to help you get covered.
All right.
Is there a time? Oh, I'm sorry to interrupt you guys, but is there a time frame that matters? Like, what if they were, diabetic 10 years ago, they got on medication, they've been off for, 15 years. That still count as them being a diabetic, or would that just kind of?
Yep. So it's going to matter when they were diagnosed, right? That's why
Yeah.
we asked that question, because different policies are going to take it and not, right? And then again, the insulin, when were you diagnosed? When were you put on insulin? How long?
Yeah, diabetic, once diabetic, always, doesn't matter whether you're on it or not, for diabetes at least.
Mhm.
Yes, but they were, say it was over 10 years. I know we have like the different time frames for each carriers, but like say it was over 10 years, like, are they going to look at that and be like, nope,
Right.
still
And
denied?
we're gonna teach y'all this stuff, right? So
Okay.
because y'all are gonna write instantly. I love the questions y'all are having, and this is what all our brand new agents like. Well, what about this and what about that? So the point of this call is we don't want you to worry about all that, because it's too many what if this, right? So there's too many applications, too many different underwritings, too many, right? If they were diagnosed at this age, if they were diagnosed before this, if they've been on it for so long, if it's been so much time frame, there is way too many information and way too many applications for us and you to go learn. Right. So this is why I'm going to teach y'all today, right, how to leverage your upline and your team so that you can maximize, right? Again, I had 81 applications approved. It was not because I learned underwriting. I still, to this day, ask my base shop. They laugh at me. If they ask me a question about an application, I'm like, I know absolutely nothing about insurance. I just follow the system, because the system does not tell me I have to go learn all this underwriting. It says leverage the system, right, of the things we have in place. So again, all those questions are going to be great. What I love to say is you're going to learn underwriting 15 minutes at a time. And what I mean by that is you're going to book 4 appointments for tomorrow, and then you're going to call your upline and say, hey, I want to make sure I have the right policies, or which ones should I write? This is their health conditions. And then that's when you learn a little bit about underwriting. You want to get really good at underwriting and knowing, right, what policy they're going to get approved. Book a whole bunch of appointments really fast, and we're going to get to casework, because you can go learn all these products and learn all their underwriting, and then the appointment you book is completely different health conditions, right, that you don't know anything about. So that's why it's super important. Do not go down rabbit holes of learning, right, underwriting from different policies. Doesn't matter. Utilize the system, right? So, and the system is, right, so now I book my appointments for tomorrow, so I can call my upline, right, today in the evening or tomorrow. I'm making sure I'm asking all the questions really good when I'm booking the appointment. And then, right, is having, right, I use a notepad, do whatever you do, but have your case, right, your client ready to go. I think we have the qualifying sheets that you can use, right? And there you're going to have all the information that you're going to need, right, to just simply call Jeff and say, hey, Jeff, so tomorrow I have, right, my 3 appointments. I have an 85, right? I have an 85-year-old. What am I going to use, right? Blah, blah, blah. Hey, I have a couple, a 26 and a 28-year-old. They're perfectly healthy. Their mortgage is $250. Their mortgage payment is, right, $1,500, right? And they're perfectly healthy, no medication. Which application should I use? and then we help you, right? The cool part is once you start doing it like 5 or 10 times, you already instantly start to learn the underwriting, right? Because, oh, perfectly healthy young, I'm going to go here, right? Oh, they had a heart attack and it's been more than 5 years, I'm going to go here. They're past 75, I'm only going here, right? You'll start learning that, and give yourself grace, right? Like, it's going to take time to learn. You don't need to learn underwriting because it's not important. What's important is you book more appointments for tomorrow, because you don't get paid when you go read a book on underwriting. You get paid when you're dialing and you're booking appointments for tomorrow. That is the most important thing I can tell you for today. So now right?
Oh,
I have
sorry.
my appointments. Go ahead.
So when we book appointments, how far out should we book them from each other?
So that's a great question. That's my next one. So,
Oh,
right,
nice.
booking appointments. Yeah. So we're booking appointments for tomorrow, right? And I always start midday, find out what your schedule, right? But so let's say for me, I love to start mine at 3 o'clock, right? That's my first appointment that I ideally want to book. So I'm going to book my 3 p.m. for tomorrow. Yes, I'm excited, right? It's my first appointment. I'm booked, right? And I'm going to call my upline probably, Nathan, I just booked my first appointment. I'm super stoked, right? And the first thing you want to do is go casework this thing, right? Like, let me find out which one I'm going to show them. Nope, nope. Your job is to finish dialing for the day, okay? Because one appointment does not mean they're going to show up. And we're going to go over those numbers again too, right? So your job is, once you book your first appointment, celebrate it, be super excited. We're happy for you. But that doesn't mean you have somebody you're going to sit with because of the numbers. So your job is to book the next appointment, right? Ideally, no matter what, you want to fight for 4 to 6 appointments if you're brand new, right? If you've been doing this already for 3 weeks or more, you should have enough leads that you should be fighting for 6 appointments every single day, no matter what. Like, you got to fight. That is your job, to fight for 4 to 6 appointments as a brand new agent. After the 3-week mark, if you have bought leads every single week, you should be fighting for 6 appointments for tomorrow. If you're not doing that, I promise you, that's why you're not depositing enough money in your bank account. Okay. So I got my 3 o'clock, Mindy. My job now is to book my 4 o'clock or my 2 o'clock. That's what I'm shooting for. So my next appointment, hey, I got a 2 o'clock available. Is that going to work for you? And then I'll get my 2 o'clock, right? Then my next one, hey, I'm going to book my 4 o'clock. Then I'm going to keep moving up, right? Then it'll be a 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, right? And I book them literally all back to back. Once I fill the hour marks, then I start going into the 30-minute marks, right? So let's say I got my 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Then I'm going to do right at 2:30. Then I'm going to do a 3:30. Then I'm going to do a 4:30, a 5:30, and 6:30, right? How many of y'all have trouble booking them all back to back tomorrow? Raise of hands. If you've been dialing, have you had trouble booking all your appointments back to back? Everybody, wow, no one's had trouble. Look at that. All right, I want to show y'all something, because I promise you it's in your head. These are my appointments for today. Every 30 minutes, they all booked. Look at my tomorrow, empty. Because if I talk to you, you're booking your appointment tomorrow, right? They are going to tell you, I can't, it's your job to stick to the script and sound very busy. And hey, I got a 3 o'clock tomorrow. That's what I have for you. If that doesn't work, let me know. And then I'm going to find the next slot, right? But tomorrow, right? And so this is how much it works. Yesterday, I was dialing, right? I still had a few, but I still try to bunch them up between my 2 o'clock and my 7 o'clock. Y'all see that? Same thing for Tuesday. And then when I dialed Saturday, I filled my entire Monday every 30 minutes. They will let you, right? It's you needing to get better with the script, right? I book them back to back, right? It's you needing to get better with the script. If you feel that you can't book them every 30 minutes, right, or every hour, you absolutely can. They will let you. I don't care how old the lead is. It's your posture. It's you being familiar with the script, right? And it's making sure, right, that you sound, right, good on the phone so that they can book. They'll allow you to book them like that, right? Because we don't ever get any more objections. It's all mindset. I always love to talk about the cable guy, right? Usually when y'all are booking appointments as a new agent, you're a little nervous, you sound nervous, and right, you say, hey, Amber, tomorrow at 3 o'clock, and they're like, no, I don't know. And you're like, well, how about at 6 o'clock? Is that good? Listen to how I sound. Oh, how about 6 o'clock, right? I'm just hunting now. They're like, yeah, I don't know if I'll be home by then. Oh, okay, no worries. Tomorrow, Friday, I'm wide open. Friday, what'll work for you, Madison, on Friday? Well, I got my kids, and then we got baseball. Man, I don't know. Well, you know what? Let's just do next Monday. Right? That's them controlling the conversation. Okay. When they call to set up the cable, this is what I love. I heard this at a training one time and it blew my mind because I used to have the same problem. They go, y'all understand they respect the cable guy more than you? Because when they call the cable and say, hey, I need my internet set up, right, and make sure I got my Wi-Fi going, they're like, sure. Okay, looks like I have Thursday at 1 o'clock available, right? And it's going to be from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. That's the window we have. Is there something better? Nope, we have that, or we can do right in a month. Right? And you're like, okay, the kids won't go to school, they'll call in at work, they'll cancel everything that they have to cancel to sit there for 4 hours minimum, right? Because they tell you 8 to 12, 8 to 4, and these folks will call in. I don't care what important job, they're doctors and everything. They will call and sit there. Like, nope, I'm just sitting here waiting for the cable guy, right? We are more important than the cable guy. We're protecting their lives, right? Like we're protecting the home, the loss, right? Their equity. Like we are more important than a cable guy. Give yourself that same respect and have that posture. So when I call, it's like, hey, looks like I have 3, and right, you'll start getting to know your leads, right? So if I'm talking to somebody 55 or 60 and below, right, more than likely they work. So I'm looking to plan them, right, later evening, right? I'll say, hey, so do you work tomorrow? What time do you normally get off? I get off at 5, right? So I'm picking good slots already so that I can get the first one to a yes, right? I'm just paying attention. If they're 60 or below, they're probably, or 60 and above, more than likely they're retired, right? I'm like, those are the ones I'm giving the earlier times because they're usually, right, retired and just sitting at home. So just start looking at that on your leads when you're booking the appointments. And the most
Hey,
important.
Joe, I have a quick question.
Yep. And the most important thing, right, is 4 to 6 appointments tomorrow. I can't emphasize that enough because you're wasting your upline's time and you're wasting your time with one appointment for tomorrow at 3 o'clock. And I'm super excited about it now, right? Because we're going to casework. You're going to be super excited. You're going to go practice the application. You're going to be super ready, Leah. And then they don't show up. Right. And you didn't book more appointments, right? You weren't focused on the big picture, which is you need 4 to 6 appointments for you to even have a shot at it. And I'm going to go over that. Nicole?
I was wondering if you might could do some role play with that. Because especially this time of year, I'm getting a lot of, the kids have practice every night, or when they don't have practice, they have a game, and you've got to have husband and wife together. Like I'm struggling with that demographic right now.
Right. So look for an 8, 9 p.m. appointment, right? Or earlier in the day, or you're going to look at a Saturday appointment. There's not really like.
Okay. So even if it's not tomorrow, just put them out. But in my mind, like I'm not even going to count the ones that are not tomorrow as one of my 4.
Correct. And that should be, again, unless y'all dialed 1,000 dials this week, right? And I have 30 something appointments, like that should be very minimum, right? Like don't focus on those one or few. You're going to get those randoms, right? They're probably not going to show up. Focus on the ones that are going to let you book them tomorrow and you have the posture of it, right? And then it's always, I have so many of these as an agent, right? But it's usually because you only have 6, right? And those 6, right, throughout the week were the funny ones, right? It's you just need to have massive dials, right? Massive appointments. And when I say massive, it's 4 to 6 appointments every single week. I promise you that is 99% of everyone's problem here, right? If we're not being successful, if I'm not depositing enough money, if my cases are weird and all this other stuff, it's just because you just don't have enough of them. You need to fight for 4 to 6 appointments every single day. If you have that, you're almost guaranteed, right? Almost guaranteed to start writing business every day or every other day, as long as you have 6 appointments right for tomorrow. And then I love to talk about this math, right? Because again, right? And you're a brand new agent, you're working bonus leads, you dialed, right? And you got 2 appointments for tomorrow. We're still super happy, right? That's where you're at in the process, but just realize 2 appointments probably won't show up tomorrow, right? So you still don't have nothing, and that's perfectly fine. Tomorrow, you're going to do it again. You're going to reschedule those that don't show up. That is part of the process. The reason you need to have 4 to 6 appointments, and the reason you need to have 6 appointments is we have I carry a 30 to 40% show rate. So if you have a 50% show rate, you're better than me, what I'll tell you, right? A lot of y'all are, okay? But if you have 6 appointments and 3 of them don't show up, right? An average 50% show rate, that means you only have 3 appointments left, okay? We close at a 50% close rate as well. You can't 50% 3 appointments, right? You're down to 1 appointment. You're down to 1 appointment to maybe have business, right? So if I started at 6 and I'm down to 1 with those numbers, if you're under 6 appointments, the probability of you writing an app today is very slim, right? Because then you start looking at, hey, can I have 6 appointments booked for the week? And that means for the week, maybe you have 1 application. Y'all want to know how we write so much business, right, in a week is we're just condensing that time, right? I think I posted on Band between Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I dialed 875 dials in 3 days. I talked to, I think it was like 35 people, booked 22 appointments. I've already ran 15 appointments. And Amber, we teach, right, to sit 12 to 15 appointments and you should have a $5,000 week. I have sat up to right now with 15 appointments, not including today, and I'm at 5,300 with 6 applications. The numbers don't lie. I hate it as well. Trust me. I wish I can book 3 and write 6 apps. That doesn't happen, right? Like fall in love with the numbers. I have another 15 appointments today. The probability of me writing 3 or 4 applications is very, very high, right? Because the numbers are going to math up. I have 15 booked appointment. I'm going to be excited if I sit with 6. That's my goal. I want to sit with 6 of my 15 appointments today. If I sit with 6, I'll close half of them. So I have a high probability of getting 3 yeses. I can write multiple applications in those homes. So I have a very high probability of writing 6 applications. I said that today, Amber, watch me do a goose egg right in front of everyone, right? But those are the numbers, right? Like I have very high probabilities of today submitting another 6 applications based on the numbers of the apps, right? Or the appointments. That's what y'all have to fall in love with. It ain't underwriting. It ain't this. It's do you have enough appointments for tomorrow, right? So that you can set up. So now we have appointments set up, right? We've casework with our upline, right? They're going to tell us, right? So the way that looks is Nathan, and I want y'all to expect this call should take 5 minutes to 10. That's it, right? You're not calling your upline for an hour conversation about your 5 appointments, right? Or your 4 appointments. Every case should take about 5 minutes. So if you have about 4 of them, you should be done in about 10 minutes. Okay. So I'm going to call Nathan. Nathan, I have my 4 appointments. This is their age. This is their health. Nathan's going to say, hey, great. Sounds like it's going to be Americo term 100, a 15-year term, a 20-year term, right? And look at the full mortgage, 200,000, right? And then we're going to do about half, 100,000. Make sure you add the accidentals. Right? Your upline will help you let you know which ones. It's your job to actually go get the quotes, right? We're going to tell you where to go get the quotes. You're going to do the quotes and set it up. And then what I ask all my agents, and if you're a builder and you have an agent, this is what I highly recommend. Say, hey, Danelle, once you have those numbers, right? I just give them the numbers, go look at, right? Accidental, 200, 300,000, term 100, 15 years, and do the full mortgage payoff in half. Send me a picture of your quotes. And that's it. Right? And then I get a picture later on and it's showing me, right, their quotes, and I just confirm they did it correctly. It's teaching the new agent, right, how to still go figure it out on their own, right? I've just guided them in the right way. And then I also verify what they put together. I want to make sure, right, as their upline, I verified the options that they're showing because sometimes we may need to tweak some. Okay? That's the best way to casework. I'm telling you, 81 first applications because it was not me. I have to shout out, right, Mark Newbauer and Steve Devine. Every single appointment, they help me casework, okay? And this is for the veterans out there, right? If you've been here a while, I still don't casework by myself. right? We have our little base shop, right? We have our text message like, hey guys, we just confirm stuff, right? Like, hey, James, I just want to make sure, right? The neuropathy, I'm going to have to go Mutual of Omaha, Living Promise, right? And I'm going to have to do graded. Like, do not try to figure this out on your own, right? Like, always casework. I personally still casework with my team in case that something happened, right? Like right now, Amber's probably my superstar in caseworking. I'm like, Amber, I don't even remember this, right? That. She goes, yep, that's the one. Right. And I'm going to teach y'all a couple of tricks to kind of do this on your own. Right. And then again, always work with your upline. Do not go show quotes that you've never shown your upline. If you're not making sales, that's probably why. Okay. So I'm going to share my email. Where'd it go? So I'm going to show y'all a really cool trick to help you. So this is where you'll do as a new agent a little bit of work. You'll call the carriers and they'll send you applications, or through right HQ and stuff, you can get applications. But I highly recommend you can either go through, like Americo is really cool. Americo, they have a demo app and you can run through the whole thing, do signatures, absolutely everything, and practice on it. If not, what I highly suggest as well, right, is you can call each carrier, and I'm going to go over the policies you should look for. So please don't go crazy yet. I'm going to give y'all very specifics on what you should look for, right? So these are applications of this. So this is Term Life Express. Everybody see that? Right? For me, Term Life Express was super, super easy, and this should be super easy. The reason we don't just email all of y'all, because y'all are in different states, you got to call your Mutual of Omaha, right? Or go to their site and get that specific state-specific application. Okay, so mine won't work for yours. You got to make sure you're in your right state. And what I loved about Mutual of Omaha's Term Life Express is you see everything's just yes or no when you're going through the e-app. But theirs is super easy. If you answer yes, it's a decline. So if you're going through the process on Term Life Express, I can pull up this application, and based on what the client told me, right? If they've had cancer and I have to answer yes, I can't use this policy. If they've had any of these things and I have to answer yes, I can't use this policy. If I can answer no to this whole thing through it, right? Guess what? I got an app. It's highly likely that it's going to get approved because they answered no to every single question, right? So you can do this with all the policies that you're going to write in your business. And that's a huge help, right? If you go to, like, let's do Living Promise from Mutual of Omaha, they even tell you things in here, right? So it says, if you answer yes to these first questions, right? These first, let me see, this first 4 questions, if you answer yes to any one of these, it's a decline. So guess what? If they answer yes to any one of these questions, I'm not using this policy. It even says on part 2, if you answer yes to any of these questions, it'll be graded. So if I get all these no's, I'm good to go. But then down here, I have to answer yes, I'm still good to go, but it's going to be a graded policy, right? And this will start helping you, right? And that way, when you're going with your upline, you'll be like, hey, this is what I've put together, right? And again, we confirm, yep, that's the one. And so you can look at all the applications, right? This is American Amicable, all the questions on there. You got to go call the carrier, learn to call carriers because it's super important, because they'll give you their applications, right? And you'll get the information from them. And then super important, I want y'all to write this down, okay? Every single insurance carrier has a whole team of underwriters that are waiting for your phone call. Their job is to answer your phone call, and it's called a risk assessment. And you can call the carrier and say, hey, my client is blank age, this health condition. I'm thinking about Dignity Solutions, or I'm thinking about Term Life Express with Mutual of Omaha. And they're going to tell you, hey, that's not going to work. Or you know what? Run it through because it sounds like it will. So you also have a whole team that is literally just sitting there waiting for you to call and casework with them so that you know what to write. Now, again, you got to give yourself time. So when you're booking an appointment, right? Again, don't do it today. Don't call 1 hour before your appointment, right? Make sure you're doing this early in the morning. The last thing you want to do is not be ready for your appointment. So we've caseworked. We know where to get answers. We know what we're going to show because somebody's helping us. Now, how do you prepare your computer? How are you set up, right? To make sure you find the best, right, success. And I'm going to share my screen again. So does everybody see these tabs that I have saved up? My computer looks like an insurance computer because it starts with my email, my opt login account. Does everybody see that there? Right? With American Amicable, right? The American Amicable even, like I'm going to open up a new tab, right? So we have opt, American Amicable, the e-app to American Amicable. I can click on it. Make sure you're using Google Chrome is what I suggest. Let it save all your passwords. I can get into any application instantly. I can change this to Mutual of Omaha, right? To Americo. All my passwords are saved. I can get into any carrier instantly, right? It does not take me long to go pivot to anyone, right? I'm gonna go Mutual of Omaha, right? All these are saved. Once you get to the website like this, I always save it at this screen where you're gonna use your login, and all you have to do is hit this little star up here. When you hit that little star, it's going to let you name it, right? I name mine, you see here, Moo, SBLI, Americo, right? I got Band, I got my Zoom room ready to go, right? I got my Ninja dialer, right? I have Switchboard, all the carriers that I use, right? Very, very important to log these in here. It just makes you stressed out sometimes when you don't have this stuff set up, right? Because you're like, oh, I got to go back to HQ. I have to go back to this. I have to go here. And next thing you know, it's taking you an hour to prepare for one appointment, right? And that's very stressful. Don't do that, right? Like log all your carriers, right? And you can go into each one, save them up there so that it could be super easy for you. And then what I highly suggest is once you and your upline have decided what policies y'all want to use, you go into that application and you can practice through it. You can put fake information in every single carrier, right? Just go all the way through the process. Just don't hit submit, right? The cool part with America is they let you hit submit.
Hey, we here, brother.
John, I got you there. Never mind. I forgot I'm co-host. So, right. If Karen, I've prepped with Jeff and he said, I'm going to use Americo and I'm going to use an accidental. You should know how to get to the accidental application. You should know how to get to the Americo Term 100. You should have already gone through it. Don't practice on your clients. Okay. And then the last thing you want to do is don't call your upline 10 minutes before your appointment and say you need help. Okay, that you don't allow us to help you. We want to help you. We literally got a whole team. Like if I'm not available, right, you get to call James. If vice versa, right, you can call Jeff. You can call Nate. Like every team has their agents that you can call. You should never run an appointment if you haven't called somebody, especially as a brand new agent, right? We still do it right now. Like again, we have a group chat of our base shop, right? All our producers, and we're asking each other questions. Hey, just want to make sure this. Hey, what do you suggest here? Like use your team. That Symmetry is a system. And if you leverage it properly, you're going to get a whole bunch of yeses, right? But it's just really important to make sure you know where to get their stuff, your information. The next thing, last thing I want to cover is calling your upline in your appointment. Okay. One, they should know you're running an appointment. Okay. So I know when my base shops run an appointment. If you haven't told somebody, hey, Amber, I'm about to run an appointment in 30 minutes. When you call for help, don't be upset, right? Like no one knew. We're in an appointment where I'm at the park with my kids. I'm not going to answer, right? Whatever it may be. Make sure you've let somebody know you're about to run an appointment so the reason I got 81 approvals in my first one, Paul, are you ready for this? I called Mark and Steve Devine in every single one of my appointments. I challenge y'all, right? Like my client liked it. Even if I already knew, I was set up, Nate, and I'm like, hey, I'm just making sure it was this, this, and this. Client wants to make sure, right? I got the right product. Yep, it sounds good. Thanks, Steve. Bye. Every single appointment. Why am I trying to figure this out by myself? Yes, ma'am.
Sorry. When should we call you guys? Like what time? Like before our appointment? What's a good like time frame?
So there's no time frame. We should know when you're running appointments because you prep with us, right? And then I always tell my agents, hey, text me about 30 minutes before your appointment. Like, hey, I'm jumping in at 3 o'clock, right? That way. And then inside the appointment, you should reach out to us at any point you feel something's not going right.
Okay.
At any point, right? And what I highly suggest is use the workroom. Now that we have this going on, holy crap, you have like 10 underwriters ready to go for you. Now you got to make sure you're set up for this, right? So if I'm running my appointment on my computer or my laptop, I want to be in the workroom on Zoom, right? Either in my phone or in my tablet, right? Or go get something else if you have another right device. Because I highly recommend that, because right, you'll be muted with them. They don't have to hear you. You'll be muted with them, but they're there. And that way you're running your appointment. And if you have any hiccup, there is nothing like, hey, hold on really quick, Mindy, let me just ask a question really quick to my boss. And I mute you, and then I just unmute the Zoom room like, hey guys, Danelle, hey, I have this case, this is going on. Or is this okay? Or this is, I'm stuck here in the application. Utilize the tools. How many of y'all have run an appointment by yourself and gotten stuck and then you're panicking? There's no need. If you're in the workroom, right? Like you can literally unmute, you have 15 people to help you, right? Like utilize that tool. And I promise you, right? There's nothing better than that. Like I don't know if Jennifer Phillips is on here. She does that so well. She's a brand new agent, 2 weeks into this, 7 or 8 applications already submitted. And she literally just calls us in every single home. Hey, this happened. I don't know what's going on. And we just guide her and she goes, does it. In every single appointment, there's no need. You get out there. You should never run an appointment and get off of it and then ask for help. Don't get off of it. You want to stay in it until that application is submitted and issued, right? And why I say the word issued is because you're going to get declines. Don't get off your appointment. Don't even tell the client they've gotten declined. Again, be like, hey, I'm just working on this really quick. I'm going to mute myself out, right? I'm going to call my manager, make sure I got the right policy. You mute them and you call your upline. Hey, they got declined to know. What do I do next? We're going to help you with quotes. We're going to go to pivot to the next policy. We're going to set you up. That way, when you go back with the client, right, you just simply hang up with us and unmute yourself there. Hey, it looks like that one didn't take. We're going to go with this one, right? It's $2 more, but it looks like it should be okay. And they're like, okay. And you've already started the application. The site's up. You're comfortable, right? You're able to pivot inside the appointment, right? You should not get off your appointment unless that application is written. It is so important to be able to pivot and use your upline to pivot. The last thing I don't want y'all to do, right, is go write 3 or 5 different term policies and they all get declined, right? And then you're going to have some weird numbers to show for Symmetry, right? So always, if you get a decline, you want to pivot, right, with your upline so they can help you go to the next one. So.
Okay, thank you.
Real quick on that, Joe, I don't personally tell them the price difference. I just say, looks like there might be something going on. We're going to pivot over to one of my other favorite carriers here. And once it's approved, because $2, I mean, they've already decided at that point they want it, right? Like $2 does not make a difference to them.
$20 doesn't make a difference.
Right. If you make it a big deal, it becomes a big deal. They've already decided they want this. Just trust them and keep moving forward.
Yep. And then just a couple, right? I'm gonna give you all the carriers in order. Again, get with your upline. This is the way I do it, right? So 5 carriers is who I use, and that's it. I've written right over $300,000 in business in a year with 5 carriers. The first one you should look at, I got a case tomorrow. Can I write them with Americo? The next one, I want to write, they don't qualify for Americo. I'm going to go to Mutual of Omaha in this order. That one didn't work. Next, I'm going to go SBLI. That one didn't take. Then I'm going to go American Amicable. That one didn't take. That means they're really sick. You're going to go AIG or Corebridge. If you stay in that order, you don't get off the appointment until you got an instant approval, right? Unless you get down to like American Amicable, because it'll go into underwriting, right? And again, counsel with your upline, right? Some agency owners have different orders. That's the order I do it to make sure, right, halfway through the application, I get stopped so I can pivot instantly. That's the reason I do it. And it's commission levels for yourselves, right? How much you get paid on policies. You also need to know that different policies pay different commissions. So in that order, you're maximizing your commission as well for your efforts. I think that's it. Any questions? We got 3 minutes, please. Anything in that process, right? I'm new. How do I do this? Where do I find that?
So let's say, what if they declined on all of them? What do we do then?
Say, sorry, that's all I can do for you.
Oh, and just hang up?
Also, Corebridge is guaranteed advantage or guaranteed issue, so there's no decline.
Right, you'll get very few to get to that point, but remember, we're just doing the best that we can to get them coverage, right? There
Okay.
are cases where we just can't help them, right?
Okay.
Sometimes they're 80 and there's only one way we can go, right? And they say no, that's it. So don't get too stuck again on those little things, right? We're going to show you what to show them. If it's yes or no, on to the next, because you should have 4 to 6 appointments for today. No one's promising y'all are going to help every single family. You're going to get a yes in every single home.
Joe, I want to highlight what April Williams just asked in the chat, which was, is it safe to say if they get declined on Americo, they will get declined in Moo? And the answer is definitely no. I've had plenty of Americo declines that then get approved through Moo and vice versa. So do not just assume that they're going to get declined. That's a great question, April.
Yeah. Again, you get a decline, please counsel with somebody. Right? There's no reason y'all are trying to figure this out by yourself. Way too many agents out there that can help you.
Hey, Joe, so if they get a decline with Americo, do you go Mutual of Omaha Term Express or Mutual of Omaha Living Promise?
So it's just going to depend on the case we're looking at, right? Because if I'm with Americo and I'm showing Eagle Premier, right, the next product with Mutual of Omaha would be Living Promise, right?
I
So
got
you're
you. Okay.
usually staying within the realm unless some random stuff comes up.
Got it. Understood.
Any other questions? Those are good.
So I have to be patient with myself
Say
to learn all this product
Real
knowledge,
quick,
man.
you said at 80, there's one way.
that again?
What is that one way at 80? You said at 80 years old, there's only one way. If there's not
So 80, you can only do whole life, right? Or 75 and above, right? The terms end at 75. So you're only going one product and that's it.
Right. Thank you so much.
And when I say one product, right, I mean whole life, right? You can still pivot between a couple of them, right? But there's only one way to go, right? You're going critical period. So, and the biggest lesson I want to teach everyone, right, is don't do this on your own. Like there's too many people, right? Like I know y'all are nervous. Allow us to help. This is a system, right? Like prep, give yourself time to, right? Like this is a business. If I have my appointments, make sure you're giving yourself hours before the appointment time, right? So that you can schedule with your upline, so they can help you underwrite, so that you can go play with the policy, right? Go in there, log in, see what it looks like. Don't practice on your client, right? Like there's too many things. We got, think about this, right? It's a system. We have scripts. You have underwriters from the insurance company. You have underwriters in your upline, right? Like there's no way you're figuring this out, or there's no reason you're figuring this out on your own. There's way too many resources you don't get, right? You're not sitting with the home and helping a family, right? As long as you're following the numbers, the biggest thing, right? Activity-wise, you need 4 to 6. Because if you're prepping for anything under 4 appointments for today, look, I love y'all. And yes, practice, right? But the likelihood of you writing an application with 3 applications or 3 appointments today is just very low, right? That's what you need to go fix. Go see if you can book another 2 or 3 for today, right? Or tomorrow, should I say, right? So that you have more appointments. That is the biggest thing. And then you get to casework with everyone. So thanks for hopping on.